Okay, Mrs. Asri Widyasanti is from Department of Agricultural Engineering and Biosystem Faculty of Agro-Industrial Technology, Universitas Pajajaran. Okay, you may zoom in, please, operator. Okay, thank you. And Agro-Industrial Technology, okay, Agro-Industrial Technology, Universitas Pajajaran. And her education backgrounds are bachelor degree in agricultural engineering Gajah Mada University, Indonesia, master degree in food engineering, bioprocess technology, Asian Institute of Technology, Thailand, and also the last one is doctoral student in agro-industrial technology, Universitas Pajajaran, Indonesia. And for her research interests are revolving around post-harvest and process engineering, patchouli processing. Okay, these are the publications from Mrs. Asri, and that is all for her short bio.
Okay, to Mrs. Asri, the time and screen is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Allow me in this opportunity to welcome all of you to the second virtual mobility programs. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Asri Widyasanti, and I will be the moderator for today's sessions. I'm very pleased to see you here and welcome all of you to this virtual mobility programs. Today's session is about utilization of biomass towards sustainable food, energy, and biomass. For your information, before the session begins, let me inform you how the presentation will be going on. We will have presentation in the next few hours. The speaker will talk around 60 minutes. Then we have a discussion for about 10 minutes. So if you have any question, feel free to ask directly by raise hand mode, or you may type your question in the chat box. All right. We have already great speaker who already with us. Operator, please. I'm going to read her profile. Is it correct, Dr. Novizat? Okay. Okay, I'm going to invite Prof. Ais Hermiati. Prof. Dr. Ais Hermiati is a research professor on Pusat Riset Biomasa dan Bioproduct, Badan Riset and Inovasi Nasional BRIN. Okay, for her educational background, she has received bachelor degree bidang teknologi hasil pertanian IPB University, and she pursue her master degree in food science, graduate school Rutgers University, Amerika Serikat, and then for her doctoral degree, she graduated from Sekolah Pascasarjana Institut Pertanian Bogor. Okay. Yes, she worked a lot in agricultural product technology and bioenergy and also biorefinery. Here are the list of her publication. She already published more than 20 articles in reputable journal. Is also the list for the proceeding, paper, and also patent. Now, allow me to welcome our second speaker, Prof. Ais Hermiati, to deliver her presentation. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is it clear? Is my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Clearly. Okay. Bu Ais, You have 60 minutes to deliver your presentation. So please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you all, even though it is just virtually. I'm glad to be with you this morning. I would like to deliver a presentation with the topic of a biorefinery of sugarcane press. Let me share the screen. Probably the committee will share the screen. Is it? Okay. Because I'm not able. Oh, okay. I can share it.
Okay.
Is it okay? The screen is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the topic that I would like to deliver this morning is biorefinery of sugarcane press. Sorry. Oh. Why? Okay. Probably it's um, this is the I don't know why this is the outline of my topic today. So I would like to introduce a little bit about the biorefinery concept, and then potential of sugarcane press, and mostly I would introduce or explain of our project, the Asia project on integrated biorefinery of sugarcane press, which is a collaborative research between 4 countries, and for instance, including Indonesia, Thailand, Laos, and Japan. And finally, I would summarize in concluding remarks. Sorry. Now, about the biorefinery concept, there are so many definitions actually regarding biorefinery or biorefining, but there are two most definitions that usually used. The one is from International Energy Agency, IEA, and the other one is from NREL, National Research Energy Laboratory of the USA. According to IEA, biorefining is the sustainable processing of biomass into a spectrum of marketable products and energy, while the NREL definitions is biorefinery is a facility that integrates biomass conversion process and equipment to produce fuels, power, and chemicals from biomass. So, and some of researchers has summarized or defined the in summary, biorefinery is a concept that represents a broad class of processes that refine different forms of biomass into one or many products or services. So the main point here is how to produce biomass using different kinds of process, either chemicals, biological, physicals, so that we can achieve different kinds of chemicals or fuels and other bioproducts. So there is no chemical compounds of the biomass that is left unuseful. I think that's the main point. So previously, biorefinery is also usually related to second generation of bioethanol. So at that time, people are focused how to produce second generation bioethanol from biomass. So the component of interest was only cellulose. So many research conducted in order to convert this cellulose, extract the cellulose, and then convert it to glucose, and then further ferment it to ethanol. But currently, other main components such as lignin, especially lignin and hemicellulose, which are also the two main components, are of interest to maximize the overall yield of the valuable compounds. That's about the biorefinery. Now we go to the sugar potential of sugarcane press. So sugarcane press is an excellent biomass. It's just it's still underutilized, which means that not so much people that not so much utilize the sugarcane press, and the amount of sugar cane press produced depends on the plant variety, age, crop, and harvest, and soil and weather. So the amount of sugarcane press is usually about 15% of the total above ground biomass at harvest. So probably around 10 to 15 tons per hectare. And of this amount, around 70 or 80% left in the field, with 20 to 30% taken to the mill. The calorific value is similar to bagasse, but with lower moisture content. Nowadays, only a small quantity of this biomass is used as fuel, mixed with sugarcane bagasse or by itself at the sugar mill. The rest is usually burned in the vicinity of dry cleaning installation, creating this great pollution problem in sugar plantation and its surrounding area. So we would like on the right hand side, you may see how these sugarcane press is burned in the field. So okay, which causes environmental problems surround the area. Sugarcane press itself, I mentioned this the 4 countries that involved in the project. Indonesia has a plantation area about 420,000 hectares, and it's much higher than Japan and Laos, but it's very much smaller than Thailand. The production of sugarcane also much higher than Japan and Laos, but very much less than Thailand. So Thailand is really a high producer of sugarcane and cane sugar also. And in Indonesia, the sugarcane plantation is either government estate or it's private estate, or maybe by smallholders like farmers. And the increases from year to year is not so big, so it's almost the same from year to year. On the left hand side, you may see probably the scene that you usually see in sugarcane press plantation when the harvesting time comes. The sugarcane straw is loaded to the trucks and bring to the cane sugar plant to process it into cane sugars. But usually, sometimes before the harvest, the sugar cane plants is burned. So the trash or the leaves of the plants is burned, and they easily take the straw to bring and bring it to the factory. This sorry, also cause problems to the environment. So far, the use of sugarcane trash is for animal feed, such as for cattle, goat, or sheep, especially in dry season. And as I said that before, that the burning process creates CO2 emissions in the environment. So now we would like to take a look at the chemical compositions of sugarcane trash. This shows that about 35% is hemicellulose and 35%, 0.5% is cellulose, and about 17.4% lignin. If we see that this trash contains high carbohydrates, the hemicellulose is a potential source of cellulose or cellulosaccharides, and these compounds also can be further transformed into different kinds of chemicals that are useful in many fields. And the cellulose, as we know, is a potential source of glucose. So we now have to move from burning the sugarcane trash to the production of value-added chemicals, fuels, and energy. Therefore, we set up a project that calls Integrated Biorefinery of Sugarcane trash. So the project involving 4 countries: Japan, Thailand, Indonesia, and Laos. In Japan side, Kyoto University is the main contributor, and Thailand is the National Science, Technology, and Development Agency, and Indonesia, from Indonesia is BP, or currently BRIN, and from Laos is the National University of Laos. So the project leader is from Kyoto University, Professor Takashi Watanabe, and the secondary project leader is Dr. Virawat Sampreda from Thailand, and me and Dr. Widya is a group leader, and I also a country leader for this project. And there is also one professor from Kyoto, Professor Hideaki Ogaki, that also a group leader for techno-economic analysis, something like that. And Dr. Kyo from Laos as also a country leader. Oh, sorry. The project is from started in April 2019 and will be ended in March 2023. This is the main, the diagram that describes what we are doing so far, or we are doing in this project. So the sugarcane trash, the sugarcane trash here means that the leaves and stalks of the sugarcane that usually left on the field when it is harvesting. So first, of course, we have to do the pre-treatment or fractionations so that we could get the hemicellulose, cellulose, and lignin fraction. Regarding the hemicellulose fractions, we we would like to we transform it to xylitol. And here the institutions in charge is BP and Biotech Mazda. And for cellulose, it is converted to isobutanol and also ethanol, in fact, and lactic acid. And for the lignin fractions, we convert it to surfactant or biosurfactant. Here you can see the institution involved in each activities. One more, the social life cycle assessment. This assessment is also conducted so that we have we would like get information how the project will affect the socioeconomic of the society. So by doing these activities, we hope that we could produce multi-products such as isobutanol, lactic acid, xylitol, biosurfactant from the sugarcane test. So for the innovation of regional society through retrofitting existing sugar alcohol industry to integrated biorefinery. For this, we divided the activities into 5 main category. We call it WP, work package. Yeah, work package 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in work package 1, there is a pre-treatment and fractionation of sugarcane press. And then work package 2, design and construction of consolidated bioprocessing cell factory. Work package 3, adaptive evolution of cycle producing strain or lactic acid production. Work package 4, production of biosurfactant from lignin. And work package 5, the socioeconomic analysis of the integrated process. Okay, let us start from work package 1, pre-treatment and fractionation of sugarcane press. So our partner in Thailand developed a method of pre-treatment which called sequential fractionation of sugarcane bagasse and sugarcane rush using liquid hot water and glycerol-based organosolv with solvent recycling. So in this pre-treatment, first the biomass is treated by liquid hot water and then continue with the glycerol-based organosolv process. So in here, in the first process, we could get hemicellulose fractions with 66% of hemicellulose, and then when continued to with a glycerol organosolv process, the process could recover could separate cellulose and lignin, and we recover about 78% of lignin and about 86.4 cellulose. And these separate fractions could be further processed for other chemicals. They also conducted fractionation of sugarcane rest using microwave and with the help of aluminum gallium sulfate catalyst. By using this, they also can recover hemicellulose-rich fractions that contains about 63% of C5 sugars, sugar yield, and then the continue microwave aluminum sulfate glycerolysis can recover the cellulose and lignin. This lignin and cellulose is separated and recovered each. For ourselves in Indonesia, actually, we also conducted some pre-treatment experiment for sugarcane press. We use the acid process, like we use organic acid such as oxalic acid and malic acid. This is to recover the hemicellulose fractions from the biomass, and the hemicellulose fraction is further fermented to xylitol. Our partner in Laos also conducted some pre-treatment experiment using alkali sodium hydroxide. They put some variations in temperature and alkaline concentrations, and they analyzed pre-treated biomass. We can see that the higher the temperature, the higher also the cellulose content in the biomass, and the lower the hemicellulose and lignin. When the acid concentration is also is increased, we can also recover more cellulose and more removal of hemicellulose fraction from the biomass. Now we move on to the work package 2, design and construction of consolidated bioprocessing cell factory. I hope I can explain this because I'm not that familiar with this genetic engineering process. I don't have anything, but let me try to explain it. So it's more likely that the NASDA and Kyoto University involved in this activity. So they tried to make a synergized enzyme system for the hydrolysis and fermentation of the pre-treated biomass. Like here beside first they used the LPMO, lactic polysaccharide monooxygenase, which is an enzyme that would cleave plant cell wall polysaccharide oxidatively. So this enzyme is considered could help in the deconstructions of the biomass, especially polysaccharides. They conducted this research, and they show that an increasing of reducing sugar obtained from the hydrolysis process if they add this LPMO in during the hydrolysis compared with if they don't add the LQMO. The other activity is butanol, isobutanol production from glucose using the engineered yeast of Pichia pastoris. So they genetically engineered the Pichia pastoris to convert the glucose to bioethanol. So usually this yeast cannot metabolize xylose. So by doing the engineering process, they could make the yeast could metabolize either glucose and xylose in the biomass. And our partner from Kyoto University also conducted the microwave acid glycerolysis and ethanol fermentation of sugarcane press. So this one is like this. The pretreatment is using microwave acidic glycerolysis, and from the process, we obtain glycerol, glycerol xylose solutions, and to increase the bioethanol from the process. So besides it is used as common saccharifications of the solid fractions that contain cellulose, they also ferment the glycerol xylose fractions. They do it by the engineered Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So the bioethanol concentrations in the final product is could be increased. So besides from the cellulose, the saccharide to glucose during common saccharifications, we could also have additional bioethanol by converting the glycerol and xylose to bioethanol by using engineered Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Okay. So this is related to the previous explanations. So they probably this one the scientific explanation for the process. Okay. And this is about the results we can see here. The glucose concentration decreased during the fermentation, and also xylose, and also glycerol, and we could get ethanol. Okay, next is the work package 3, the adaptive evolution of xylitol producing strain and lactic acid production. So we actually set a research plan like this. So first we will select the yeast strain for xylitol productions, and then fermentation of the hemicellulose hydrolysates, purification of xylitol, and crystallization of xylitol. Actually, we just do the first and second steps. For the third and fourth step is hopefully we can do it, but I'm not sure because the time is almost end. Anyway, we can do it in after the project is ended, I think. So when in the selection of yeast strain for xylitol productions, we do it in two steps. Yeah. And for the fermentation, we conducted the cell adaptation method and cell immobilization method and some bioprocess
Oke, iya.
engineering.
Waalaikumsalam.
So with the result of the selections of xylitol producing yeast of the 96 7 strains uh, test, we could get two selected yeast. First we get 5 and then we selected again from 5 and we get two potential yeast. So and first about for the bioprocess engineering, we use Mayarozina caribica, and here we one of our experiment is to see the effects of pH and addition of activated charcoal. Why pH? Because we conducted treatment using acid, so the hydrolyzate is in acid conditions. We would like to know whether the how the yeast, or whether the yeast could uh, viable or not in that acid conditions. So, but we know actually it's hard for the yeast to grow in acid conditions. So the result also shows that when we use the pH 5 uh, hydrolysate, we could get better xylitol after the fermentations. Here, from the left-hand side, the dry cell weight, one is without activated charcoal. The second also without activated charcoal, but the pH is lower. And the number 3 and 4 is with activated charcoal, pH 5 and 4 in lower pH. So the pH is really important for yeast to grow. So the addition of activated charcoal here is not help that much to promote the growth of the yeast. Here also the effects of I so, the start optical density. We varied. We used 3 variations of optical density in the 1, 5, and 10. We can see here that if we use higher optical density in the first stage of fermentation, we could get higher xylitol. Probably it because the more optical density means that there are more yeast cells in there. Here also, this the effects of volume, the volume of the hydrolysate. So we use 20%, 40%, or 50%. From here, we can see that the higher silicon could be produced if we use higher percentage of hydrolyzed, like 40% or 50% compared to 20%. We also observe the effect of glycerol as co-substrates. Our partner in Kyoto used glycerol as carbon source also for Saccharomyces cerevisiae. We tried it to whether it can use by Meierezima caribica, but unfortunately, it seems that the addition of glycerol here did not increase that much the xylose production during the fermentation. Probably the yeast or Meierezima caribica should be genetically engineered so that it could metabolize the glycerol as well. Okay. Here's the adaptation that method that used. We adapted the yeast. Here we use Candida tropicalis to the hydrolyzed first before it is used for fermentation. So it shows that the adaptation process of the yeast could increase the xylitol productions from the hemicellulose hydrolyzed of sugarcane press. The result is almost the same as if we use the detoxified hydrolyzed. So the adaptation method can be used as an alternative method if we don't detoxify the hydrolyzed. The result is similar. It's still the same. So the yield of xylitol also higher could get higher increase if we first adapted the yeast Candida tropicalis to the hemicellulose hydrolyzed. How we try to make a mass balance of the process that we use from pre-treatment until the fermentations. So here we in the pre-treatment we could get the solid about 76% and the solubilized fractions about 30%, and by enzymatic hydrolysis we could get reducing sugars about 28.8 gram out of 100 gram, and the hydrolysis of the fermentations of the liquid fractions by Candida tropicalis, we could get about 11.3 gram of xylitol. Besides the adaptation method, we also try to immobilize the yeast cell. So the yeast cell is immobilized in calcium matrix alginate. Unfortunately, the result is not as we expected because the xylitol concentrations in the final broth of fermentation is higher in the free cells samples, and the immobilized cells produce lower xylitol concentration and xylitol productivity. we try to improve the condition of the immobilization process. It could increase a little bit, but it is still lower than if we use the free cells. For example, here the highest xylitol concentrations that we get by immobilization process is about 8 gram per liter. Meanwhile, when we use free cells, it could reach like 11 gram per liter of xylitol. It's the same. There is also some concerns about the yeast that we use. If we use Candida tropicalis, it belongs to the BSL2 because it can cause some disease or has some toxicity to human. So there's a growing concern about that. Then we have to try to use the yeast that categorized as BSL1. So we conducted some experiment using some yeast that are considered as more safer, like here say Ferrosomyces typicus and Debaromyces nevalensis. Candida is still in compare also, and also we use Glucuromyces maxianus. We use 3 types of hydrolysates: the microwave malic acid hydrolysate, liquid hot water sulfuric acid hydrolysate, and liquid hot water only hydrolysates. Here we can see that the 3 process produce xylose differently. The highest xylose concentrations here from microwave malic acid, and the liquid hot water produce lower xylose. And what happened to the fermentation results? When we fermented those 3 hydrolysates, so in the liquid hot water hydrolysate with sulfuric acid catalyst, we could not get xylitol. Okay. Also, when we use liquid hot water without sulfuric acid catalyst, there's also no xylitol form. But the xylitol could only see if we use the microwave malic acid hydrolysate. Oh, I think I missed that one. Sorry. Okay. Okay, we continue to work package 4, the production of biosurfactant from lignin. Here's the process, how to isolate the lignin from the solid fractions of pretreated biomass. So the biomass first pretreated by malic acid and then continued with the alkali, sodium hydroxide 12% here using microwave and also using autoclave. In the solid fraction, we have cellulose and lignin, and by doing further treatment using sodium hydroxide, we hope that we could separate the cellulose and lignin in the solid fraction of the biomass. Now the isolated lignin is shown on the right-hand side. And after we get the lignin, then we synthesize the biosurfactant. Here's the process. It seems quite complicated. I'm sorry, some of this is still written in Indonesian language. And we use the jars with three openings where we could add some chemicals during the synthesis of biosurfactant. And this is the characteristic of the isolated lignin. The lignin content as acid insoluble lignin is higher in the lignin A1. A1 is, I think, is from, let's see, A1 is from the autoclave process, okay? And the B is from the autoclave process. This is compared to the lignin standard, which is has the lignin content about 97%. And if we talk about the biosurfactant, one of the important parameters that should be analyzed is surface tensions. So we analyze the surface tensions of the biosurfactant, and we could see that the biosurfactant of the solution decrease if we add lignin biosurfactant. For example, in ultra pure water, if the surface tension is 58 and 57, and distilled water, it decreased to 50 if we use biosurfactant lignin A, and becomes 54 if we use biosurfactant from lignin B. The higher decrease is happened if we use the biosurfactant that we synthesize from the standard of lignin. Now coming to the work package 5, the socioeconomic analysis of the integrated process. So there are some indicators that we use to do the analysis, like in economic parameters, how the value added, productivity, and for social indicators, we analyze about the employment, economic risk, greenhouse gases, energy balance, terrestrial ecotoxicity, and human toxicity. Actually, this work package 5 is the hardest part, probably. Only our partner in Thailand conducted this because they have enough budget to conduct this activity. In Indonesian side, we don't have any budget to conduct this, so we do not conduct this social LCA analysis. So they compare the open burn and an alternative use of sugarcane press, either just open burn or use for electricity generations. So if we use it for electricity generations, the value added is 2,173 Thai baht. And also there is a raw material as efficiency, and it contributes to the employment. If we don't use, if we just open burn it, we don't get any value added. We don't get any employment, and raw material efficiency is 0 as well. So therefore, the use of sugarcane press for some alternative products might be useful for the society or for the community, and also for the factory itself. they try to make the mass balance for the integrated process, and how the 100 uh, how much uh, hemicellulose fraction, lignin, and glucose that could be achieved from the processing of sugarcane fats. Besides the main studies, we also conducted some supporting studies on xylitol productions. Like we do the optimizations of xylose extraction from sugarcane fats using microwave and malic acid. So we could get the optimum conditions for the hydrolysis of xylose. And we also try to increase the xylose concentration in the hydrolysate by doing a sequential process of hydrolysis. For example, in step one, we we use the autoclave and oxalic acid, and we could get xylose about 14 grams per liter, and then we continue in the second step with microwave and acid hydrolysis that we obtained from the step one, and the concentration of xylose in the hydrolyzed could increase up to about 35 grams per liter. And then finally we conduct the fermentations. Okay, some other products we could also achieve from sugarcane press, such as xylose and xylo-oligosaccharides, which is useful as sweetener, and they are used in food, health, and pharmaceutical industries. It has low glycemic index. These two chemicals are imported materials, but it has a good price. So it is worth if we could also produce the xylose and xylo-oligosaccharides from sugarcane press. Here are the xylo-oligosaccharides that we obtain from sugarcane press by using the hydrolysis using autoclave or just autoclave and acid. So we could get about 6 grams per liter of xylo-oligosaccharides totally. Our partner in Laos also produce biochar from the sugarcane press through the pyrolysis process, and this biochar is used for absorptions of some acids during biogas productions. So when they add biochar, they could get much higher biogas produced compared to if there is no biochar added. The COD also decrease from the fermentation tank. As concluding remarks, sugarcane press is a potential source for various bioproducts. Appropriate treatment and fractionations of sugarcane press are important to utilize each major biomass components, xylose, hemicellulose, and lignin, in producing value-added products. The recombinant enzymes enable minimal enzyme system, which could reduce the cost of hydrolysis. The lytic polysaccharide monooxygenase would increase hydrolysis performance of cellulose. The engineered yeast would improve the fermentation of biomass hydrolysates for producing bioethanol and isobutanol. And the adaptation of yeast also could improve xylitol production from hemicellulose hydrolysates and lipid-based biosurfactant has been proved could reduce the surface tensions of the solutions. And further studies, of course, are needed to select the best route of sugarcane press biorefinery, which is economically feasible and has beneficial social and economical impact to the society. I think that's all that I would like to present. Thank you very much. Terima kasih for your kind attention. If there is any comments or suggestions or whatever, please let me know. If I could answer it, I will explain it. And if not, probably I will convey the question to our partners. Thank you very much.
Prof. Ais, for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. We can get a lot of insight and updates related to biorefinery of sugarcane press. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now come to Q&A session. I like to have three questions. With the sugarcane top sun-dried, but it's for animal feed. And now you already research about the bioprocess for sugarcane press.
I'm sorry, I could not hear you.
Okay.
It's very low, and would you speak louder or?
Okay, I will try to.
Okay, now it's okay.
I would like to get your perspective on LCB, lignocellulosic biomaterial, especially for sugarcane. The biological conversion of lignocellulosic biomass has long been recognized as a promising to assess the fermentable sugar then for biofuel and other bioproducts. However, in practice, the current state of technology with respect to biomass conversion is still far away from being suitable for large-scale application, efficiency, and Prof. Ais, how far is the biorefinery concept feasible in developing countries like in Prof. Ais?
Yes, okay. I couldn't hear the last part.
Yeah. How far is the biorefinery concept of sugarcane press feasible in developing countries in Indonesia? From
Okay,
your
thank you.
research, maybe you can give us a lot of perspective.
Thank you very much, Ibu Asri. Yeah, it's always a question of interest, something like that. Actually, the biorefinery concept still evolving. I think everyone is still trying to get the best, try to get the best method to be able economically feasible. Um, like uh, uh, so in some countries that has already developed, the second generation bioethanol factories that have been established, sometimes they are closed after several years. Uh, probably uh, because it has not applied the biorefinery concept. Um, so for the industry that has already applied the biorefinery concept is the pulp and paper industry. It has been applied for long ago, and it could survive. Probably we could follow the kind of uh, pulp and paper industry, so they could use every part of the components of the lignocellulosic biomass. Um, I'm sure. I'm sure some in the future, sometime in the future, this concept, the biorefinery concept, could be applied. But I don't. I could not predict in how many years, because, like science and technology evolving, and sometimes we could not predict in how many years that our goals will be achieved. But based on uh, our experience looking at some uh, technologies developed, I think I'm optimistic that the concept will be applied someday. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for the explanation, Prof. Ais. Okay, we will back to the discussion. Is there any question from the participant? We will wait for the question. We will ask again for Prof. Ais about the e-Asia project. This is a very interesting an integrated project dealing with sugarcane trust biorefinery. This project is still running or it has already closed?
Okay. This project was started in April 2019. It should be ended in March 2022, but due to the COVID situation, so we get 1 year extensions until March 2023. Yeah, I think it's an interesting project because we can collaborate with other researchers from other countries. Um, uh, I recommend that probably staff from UNPAD could find partners in Japan and uh, apply for the project, because the previously Ministry of Higher Education probably now is the Directorate of Higher Education has provided the fund if we successful to get the project. In my case, because I'm not a lecturer from university, the Directorate of Higher Education did not give us a specific budget for this activity. So we have to find ourselves the budget from other uh, res- uh, research project or applications uh, to fund these activities. But if the lecturer from university is acting as a project leader from Indonesian side, the Ministry of the Director of Higher Education provide this project. So usually this project involves Japan, yeah, the main Japan University, Japan professor, and involves two other countries at least. One is also quite developed countries such as Thailand or Malaysia, and there is one like um, uh, quite not developed countries such as Laos or maybe other countries. It is like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Ais. Perhaps Faculty of Agri-Industrial Technology could also collaborate in several topic of research and also e-Asia project. Thank you. Is there any question? We still have around 4 minutes. Unfortunately, we cannot respond all the question due to the limits of times. If you still have a question, feel free to contact the speaker by email. And this session has finally come to an end. Because before I close the session, I would like to draw a short conclusion from what the speaker has presented. Sugarcane trash as a promising source for biorefinery. It is highly important for us strengthening research for improve our biomass processing and technique as to enhance sustainable of bioproducts and biorefinery. The Asia project is one of integrated biorefinery sugarcane trash, and the understanding of characterization and then treatment process, fermentation and optimization in sugarcane are still needed in the future. Right? I would like to express our deepest thanks and gratitude to Prof. Ais for the inspiring and interesting presentation. Hopefully, we can learn something new and increase our understanding related to the biorefinery of sugarcane rice. Actually, we have already prepared something for the speaker.
Thank you.
Okay. On the behalf of the committee, we give this certificate of appreciation to Professor Dr. Ais Hermiati for her outstanding and worthy presentation on the topic of sugarcane biorefinery. In the future, we hope we can collaborate more on research and academic projects.
Thank you.
Dr. Ais, again, thank you. These lectures were attended by more than 100 participants, and I noticed that some participants are coming from outside Asia. We hope you find informative and exciting session. Thank you for being a wonderful participant during the sessions. I'm apologize if I made any mistake while moderating this event. Hopefully to see you soon. And finally, let's give applause for the speaker and for you all. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum. I will give back the time to Masters of Ceremony.